Welcome to my channel, World Coins USA. Today, we have something very interesting for every coin collector and for anyone who has ever wondered whether an ordinary-looking 1-cent coin could be worth much more than its face value. Take a close look at these Lincoln cents. At first glance, they may look like simple coins you could easily find in your pocket, a drawer, or an old collection. But before you spend or ignore a coin like this, you should know exactly what you are looking for. The year, mint mark, condition, and small details can make a huge difference when it comes to collectible coins. Some coins are common, while others can become much more interesting to collectors because of their age, rarity, or unusual features. So, before you decide that these are just ordinary pennies, stay with me until the end. We are going to examine these 1-cent United States of America coins closely and uncover the important details you should know. And remember, you never know what might be hiding in an old coin collection. So, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and let's get started. The 2003 Lincoln cent is a modern United States 1-cent coin featuring the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. It belongs to the Lincoln cent series and has a face value of 1 cent. The 2003 issue was produced during the copper-plated zinc era of the Lincoln cent. PCGS+1. On the front of the coin, Abraham Lincoln's portrait is positioned in the center. Around the portrait are the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year, 2003. If the coin has a mint mark, it appears below the date. The design continues the classic Lincoln cent format that collectors have recognized for decades. Graysheet. The reverse side features the Lincoln Memorial, with "United States of America" above it and 1 cent below it. The phrase, "E pluribus unum," appears above the memorial. This reverse design was used on Lincoln cents for many years before the major redesigns that began in 2009. Graysheet. The 2003 Philadelphia issue has no mint mark and had a reported mintage of approximately 3.3 billion coins. The Denver version carries a D mint mark and had a mintage of approximately 3.548 billion coins. There was also a San Francisco proof version with a much smaller mintage of 3,298,439 pieces. Lincoln Cent Resource Plus 2. The 2003 circulation Lincoln cent is made from copper-plated zinc, rather than solid copper. Its composition is approximately 99.2% zinc and 0.8% copper. The coin weighs about 2.50 grams, measures approximately 19 millimeters in diameter, and has a plain edge. PCGS+1. One interesting point about the 2003 cent is that it is generally a common date, especially in normal circulated condition. PCGS describes the 2003 P Lincoln cent as one of the most common dates in the series because billions were produced. Therefore, simply finding a 2003 penny does not automatically make it rare or extremely valuable. PCGS. However, condition can make a major difference. Collectors pay more attention to coins with sharp details, attractive original color, minimal marks, and strong mint state preservation. The 2003 cent can be found in very high grades, including examples graded around MS69. Although such high-grade pieces are much more interesting to collectors than ordinary circulated examples. PCGS. Another important thing to check is the mint mark. A 2003 penny without a mint mark is associated with Philadelphia, while a small d under the date identifies a Denver issue. If you have a 2003 S-proof cent, the S indicates San Francisco and it was made specifically as a proof coin rather than an ordinary circulation strike. PCGS+2. When examining a 2003 Lincoln cent, collectors should carefully inspect both sides for unusual characteristics, errors, varieties, and the overall condition of the coin. It is also important not to assume that every unusual-looking mark is a valuable mint error. Genuine errors and recognized varieties need to be properly identified before assigning a premium value. In conclusion, the 2003 1-cent United States of America Lincoln cent is an interesting modern penny with a familiar Lincoln portrait, the historic Lincoln Memorial reverse, copper-plated zinc composition, and production from Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Although most ordinary 2003 cents are common, a coin in exceptional condition, a genuine error, or a recognized variety can be much more interesting to collectors. So, if you find a 2003 penny in an old collection or your pocket change, don't immediately throw it away. Check the date, mint mark, condition, and details carefully before making a decision. The 2004 Lincoln cent is a United States 1-cent coin featuring the famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the front. This coin belongs to the long-running Lincoln cent series and carries a face value of 1 cent. On the reverse, you can see the Lincoln Memorial, making this coin part of the historic Lincoln Memorial reverse design that was used for many decades. On the obverse side, the coin displays Abraham Lincoln facing right. Around his portrait are the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year, 2004. If the coin was produced at Denver, a small D mint mark appears below the date. A 2004 coin without a mint mark is associated with Philadelphia. The reverse side of the 2004 cent is especially recognizable. It shows the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., with "United States of America" above the building and 1 cent below it. The words "E pluribus unum" appear above the memorial. This design gives the coin a classic American appearance. The 2004 Lincoln cent was produced in very large numbers. Philadelphia produced approximately 3,456,400,000 circulation cents, while Denver produced approximately 3,379,600,000. San Francisco also produced approximately 2,965,422 proof cents, which were made for collectors rather than normal circulation. Lincoln cent resource. Unlike older Lincoln cents that were made from bronze, the regular 2004 cent belongs to the modern copper-plated zinc era. The coin has a zinc core with a thin copper coating. It weighs about 2.5 grams and measures approximately 19 millimeters across. USA Coin Book. Because billions of 2004 Lincoln cents were produced, an ordinary circulated 2004 penny is generally not considered a rare coin simply because of its date. This is important for collectors to understand. Finding the year 2004 alone does not automatically mean that the coin is worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. However, the condition of the coin can make a significant difference. A 2004 cent with bright original surfaces, strong details, and very little wear can be more interesting to collectors than a heavily circulated example. Coins with exceptional mint state grades can attract more attention, especially when they have excellent preservation. The mint mark is another detail that collectors should always check. Look directly underneath the 2004 date. If you see AD, the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. If there is no mint mark, it is generally a Philadelphia issue. A 2004's coin is a San Francisco proof and is a different type of issue made for collectors. Lincoln cent resource. When examining a 2004 Lincoln cent, carefully inspect Lincoln's portrait, the date, the mint mark, the lettering, the memorial building, and the edge of the coin. Look for genuine mint errors or recognized varieties, but remember that scratches, damage, discoloration, and ordinary marks caused after the coin left the mint are not automatically valuable errors. In conclusion, the 2004 1-cent United States of America Lincoln Memorial Cent is an interesting modern American penny with a famous Lincoln portrait, the historic Lincoln Memorial reverse, and production from multiple U.S. mint facilities. Most ordinary 2004 cents are common, but a coin in exceptional condition, a proof example, or a genuine mint error can be much more interesting to collectors. So if you find a 2004 penny, don't judge it only by its age. Check the mint mark, condition, details, and possible varieties before deciding what you have. The 2000 D Lincoln cent is a United States 1-cent coin struck at the Denver Mint. The small letter D beneath the date identifies this coin as a Denver issue. It belongs to the famous Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which used the Lincoln Memorial reverse from 1959 through 2008. PCGS +1. On the obverse, the coin features the well-known portrait of Abraham Lincoln, facing right. Around Lincoln's portrait are the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 2000. Directly below the date is the important D mint mark, showing that the coin was produced at Denver. The reverse of the 2000 D cent shows the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. Above the memorial is "E pluribus unum," while "United States of America" appears around the upper part of the coin and 1 cent appears below the memorial. This classic reverse was designed by Frank Gasparo. Graysheet. The 2000D cent was produced in extremely large numbers. The reported mintage was 8,774,220,000 coins, making it a common modern Lincoln cent in normal circulated condition. Because of this huge production number, simply finding a 2000D penny does not automatically make it a rare or extremely valuable coin. PCGS +1. The coin is made from copper-plated zinc, rather than the older bronze composition used on many earlier Lincoln cents. Its weight is approximately 2.50 grams, and its diameter is approximately 19 millimeters, with a plain edge. PCGS +1. One interesting feature of the 2000D Lincoln cent is its position near the end of the Lincoln Memorial reverse era. The memorial design continued until 2008, before the Lincoln cent received new reverse designs in 2009. This makes the 2000D part of the later period of this historic design series. Condition is extremely important when evaluating a 2000D cent. A heavily circulated coin with scratches, stains, and wear will normally have little collector premium. However, a coin with strong original detail, attractive red color, and very high mint state preservation can be considerably more interesting to collectors. PCGS records a MS69RD example with a reported auction record of $2,415, showing how exceptional condition can make a modern common date cent much more valuable. PCGS. Collectors should pay special attention to the mint mark, date, lettering, and overall surfaces. On the reverse, examine the lettering around United States of America, E pluribus unum, and 1 cent, as well as the details of the Lincoln Memorial. Unusual characteristics should be examined carefully because not every scratch, dent, or discoloration is a genuine mint error. The 2000D cent can also be found in different color designations such as brown (BN), red brown (RB), and red (ROT) when professionally graded. These designations describe the coin's remaining original copper color and can have a significant effect on collector interest and price, especially at high grades. PCGS lists separate 2000D varieties under these color designations. PCGS +2. In conclusion, the 2000D 1 cent United States of America Lincoln Memorial cent is a fascinating modern American penny. It was struck at Denver, carries the D mint mark, weighs about 2.50 grams, and is made of copper-plated zinc. Although billions were produced and ordinary circulated examples are generally common, an exceptionally preserved coin or a genuine mint error can be much more interesting to collectors. So, if you have a 2000D penny, don't judge it only by its face value. Check the condition, color, mint mark, surfaces, and details carefully before putting it aside or spending it. The 2002 1 cent United States of America is a Lincoln Memorial cent from the modern era of American coinage. This coin features the famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year, 2002. On the reverse, the coin displays the Lincoln Memorial along with United States of America, E pluribus unum, and 1 cent. The Lincoln Memorial design was used on the reverse from 1959 through 2008, making the 2002 cent part of an important period in the history of the Lincoln penny. The 2002 Lincoln cent was produced primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver mints for circulation. The Philadelphia version carries no mint mark, while the Denver version has a small D mint mark. According to U.S. Mint information, mint marks identify the facility where a coin was produced, and a coin without a mint mark generally indicates Philadelphia. For collectors, checking the area beneath the date is therefore an important first step when examining a 2002 penny. The Philadelphia 2002 Lincoln cent had a reported mintage of approximately 3.26 billion coins, while the 2002D cent from Denver had a reported mintage of approximately 4.028 billion coins. These large production numbers mean that the ordinary circulated examples are generally not considered rare simply because they carry the 2002 date. However, condition, strike quality, mint errors, die varieties, and exceptional uncirculated grades can make particular examples much more interesting to collectors. The 2002 cent is made from copper-plated zinc rather than solid copper. Its standard specifications are approximately 2.50 grams in weight, 19.05 mm in diameter, and 1.52 mm in thickness, with a plain edge. The U.S. Mint lists the composition as 2.5% copper and the balance zinc. This composition is important because damage to the thin copper coating can expose the zinc underneath, sometimes producing unusual-looking surfaces or discoloration. When examining a 2002 penny, collectors should carefully inspect both sides under good lighting. Look closely at Lincoln's portrait, the date, the lettering, the Lincoln Memorial, and the rim. Pay particular attention to unusual doubling, missing details, off-center strikes, cracks, broad strikes, clipped planchettes, or other genuine mint errors. A coin that simply looks damaged or worn should not automatically be considered an error. Proper identification is important before assigning any special collectible value. Condition is another major factor. A heavily circulated 2002 cent may have scratches, discoloration, flattened details, or a dull surface, while an uncirculated coin can retain much of its original mint appearance. Collectors often pay closer attention to coins with strong strikes, clean surfaces, attractive red color, and high certified grades. Professional grading can become especially relevant when a modern coin appears exceptionally well preserved. The color of a copper-plated zinc Lincoln cent can also be interesting to collectors. Coins may appear red, reddish-brown, or brown depending on their condition and environmental exposure. However, color alone does not prove that a coin is rare or valuable. Cleaning, polishing, chemical exposure, or environmental damage can reduce collector appeal rather than increase it. Another important point is that not every 2002 penny is valuable simply because it is old compared with today's coins. The 2002 cent is still a relatively modern coin, and millions of examples were produced. Its collector interest usually comes from exceptional condition, genuine mint errors, unusual varieties, or high-grade examples rather than the date alone. For that reason, anyone finding a 2002 cent should inspect it carefully instead of immediately assuming that every example is rare. The 2002 Lincoln cent is also historically interesting because it belongs to the final decade of the Lincoln Memorial reverse. The Lincoln Memorial had appeared on the reverse since 1959, and it remained there until 2008. In 2009, the U.S. Mint introduced 4 different reverse designs honoring major periods of Abraham Lincoln's life, before the Union Shield reverse began in 2010. So, if you have a 2002 1-cent United States of America coin, first check whether it has a D mint mark or no mint mark, then examine its condition and both sides for unusual characteristics. Do not clean the coin before having it examined, because cleaning can permanently alter the surface and potentially reduce its collector desirability. The ordinary 2002 cent is common, but an exceptionally preserved example or a correctly identified mint error can be much more interesting. In the end, the real story of a 2002 Lincoln cent is not only its 1-cent denomination, but also its connection to the long-running Lincoln Memorial design and the changing history of American coinage. The 2013 1-cent United States of America is a modern Lincoln cent produced by the United States Mint. The obverse features the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, a design created by Victor David Brenner that has appeared on the Lincoln cent since 1909. Around Lincoln's portrait are the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year, 2013. The coin is a continuation of one of the longest-running designs in American coinage history. The reverse of the 2013 Lincoln cent features the Union Shield design. This reverse was first introduced in 2010 after the Special 4 Design Lincoln Bicentennial Program of 2009 ended. The shield contains 13 vertical stripes representing the states joined together, while the horizontal bar above the shield represents the federal government. The inscriptions include, "United States of America, E Pluribus Unum," and 1 cent. The 2013 penny was produced at the Philadelphia and Denver Mint facilities for the United States Mint's annual coin production. When examining a 2013 coin, look carefully below the date. A D mint mark indicates production at the Denver Mint, while a Philadelphia circulation cent from this period normally has no mint mark. The United States Mint's 2013 uncirculated coin set specifically included Lincoln 1-cent coins from both Philadelphia and Denver. The 2013 Lincoln cent is made from copper-plated zinc. Its composition is approximately 2.5% copper and 97.5% zinc. The standard penny weighs about 2.50 grams, measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, is approximately 1.52 millimeters thick, and has a plain edge. Because the coin has a thin copper coating over a zinc core, damage to the surface can sometimes expose the lighter colored zinc underneath. The year 2013 is interesting because this coin belongs to the early period of the Union Shield reverse design. The shield design was introduced in 2010 and replaced the Lincoln Memorial reverse that had been used from 1959 through 2008. This makes a 2013 penny visually different from the older Lincoln Memorial cents that many people still find in circulation. When you have a 2013 penny in your hand, the first thing to check is its overall condition. Look for a strong strike, clear lettering, a sharp date, and clean details on Lincoln's portrait. On the reverse, carefully examine the Union Shield, the lettering, and the rim. A coin that has remained bright and nearly untouched may attract more collector interest than an ordinary heavily circulated example. Collectors should also look for genuine mint errors or unusual varieties. Possible areas to inspect include the date, mint mark, lettering, shield, rim, and overall alignment. An off-center strike, clipped planchet, die crack, broad strike, or genuine doubled feature can make an otherwise common modern penny more interesting. However, ordinary scratches, dents, corrosion, or damage caused after the coin left the mint should not automatically be considered mint errors. The color of a 2013 cent can also tell you something about its condition. A bright reddish coin may have experienced less environmental exposure than a dark brown or heavily discolored example. However, color by itself does not make a 2013 penny rare. Cleaning or polishing the coin can damage its original surface and may reduce its appeal to collectors, so it is better to leave the coin in its natural condition. Another important point is that a 2013 penny should not automatically be considered rare simply because it is from a particular year. Modern Lincoln cents were produced in large quantities, and ordinary circulated examples generally do not become valuable merely because of their date. The features that can make a modern cent more desirable include exceptional preservation, a recognized variety, a genuine mint error, or a high professional grade. The 2013 cent also has a place in the history of American coin collecting because the U.S. Mint continued offering the penny in annual uncirculated sets. The 2013 uncirculated coin set contained 28 coins, including Lincoln cents from the Philadelphia and Denver facilities, giving collectors an opportunity to obtain examples with better preservation than many coins found in everyday circulation. So, if you discover a 2013 1-cent United States of America coin, do not judge it only by its face value of 1 cent. Check the mint mark, examine both sides carefully, inspect the condition, and search for genuine errors or unusual characteristics. A normal circulated 2013 penny is generally a common modern coin, but an exceptionally preserved example or an authenticated mint error can be considerably more interesting to collectors. The 2013 Lincoln cent is especially notable for carrying the Union Shield reverse, a design created to symbolize the unity of the United States and Lincoln's role in preserving that unity. The 2017 D1 cent United States of America is a Lincoln cent struck at the Denver Mint. The small D mint mark beneath the date identifies Denver as the minting facility. The coin carries the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that has appeared on the Lincoln cent since 1909. Around the portrait are the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and 2017, followed by the D mint mark. The reverse of the 2017 D cent features the Union Shield design, which the U.S. Mint introduced in 2010. The shield symbolizes Lincoln's preservation of the United States as one united country. The reverse contains, "United States of America," around the top, "E pluribus unum," on the shield, and 1 cent, across the ribbon. This makes the 2017 D penny part of the modern Lincoln Shield series. The Denver Mint produced approximately 4,272,800,000 examples of the 2017 D Lincoln cent. Because such a large number were produced, an ordinary circulated 2017 D penny is generally not rare simply because of its date or Denver Mint mark. However, coins in exceptionally high grades, coins with attractive original surfaces, and genuine mint errors can attract additional collector interest. The 2017 D cent is made from copper-plated zinc. Its standard weight is approximately 2.50 grams, its diameter is about 19.05 millimeters, and it has a plain edge. The copper-plated zinc composition means that the coin has a zinc core covered by a thin copper layer. If that outer layer is damaged, the lighter colored zinc underneath may become visible. One particularly interesting fact about the year 2017 is that it marked the 225th anniversary of the United States Mint. In celebration, the Philadelphia Mint placed a P mint mark on Lincoln cents for the first time. This makes the 2017 P cent historically unusual, but your 2017 D example is different because the D identifies the Denver Mint. The 2017 D remains an important part of the same anniversary year. When examining a 2017 D penny, start by looking closely at the area underneath the date. The D should be clearly visible if the coin is a Denver minted example. Then inspect Lincoln's portrait, the lettering, the rim, and the date. On the reverse, carefully examine the Union shield, the lettering, the ribbon, and the overall strike. Strong details and clean surfaces can make a modern coin more attractive to collectors. Collectors should also watch for genuine mint errors. Important things to inspect include unusual doubling, an off-center strike, clipped planchet, broad strike, die crack, or other abnormalities that occurred during the minting process. However, scratches, dents, discoloration, corrosion, and damage caused after the coin left the mint are not automatically mint errors. Proper identification is important before considering a coin especially collectible. The surface color of a 2017 D cent can also be important when evaluating its condition. A coin with bright original red coloration and very few marks may receive a higher grade than a heavily circulated brown example. Professional grading services classify Lincoln cents according to their condition and color, including brown, and red examples. Exceptional red uncirculated coins can therefore be much more interesting than ordinary circulated pieces. The 2017 D penny also has an interesting connection to the history of Lincoln cents. Abraham Lincoln first appeared on the cent in 1909, and the reverse design changed several times over the following century. The Lincoln Memorial appeared from 1959 through 2008, 4 special reverse designs were used during 2009, and the Union Shield design began in 2010. Therefore, the 2017 D cent belongs to the modern Union Shield period of Lincoln penny history. Another important point is that a 2017 D penny should not automatically be considered a valuable coin. Its huge production figure means that most circulated examples remain common. Its potential collector interest depends much more on condition, unusual varieties, genuine mint errors, and exceptional grades. For example, PCGS records a 2017 D Shield cent that reached a $1,595 auction record in MS68RD, showing how an exceptionally graded modern penny can be dramatically different from an ordinary circulated example. This is an auction record for a specific high-grade coin, not a normal value for every 2017 D penny. If you have a 2017 D 1 cent United States of America coin, do not clean or polish it before examining it. Cleaning can damage the original surface and may reduce collector appeal. Instead, keep the coin in its natural condition, use good lighting, and inspect both sides carefully. Pay special attention to the D mint mark, the date, Lincoln's portrait, the Union Shield, and any unusual details around the lettering and rim. In conclusion, the 2017 D Lincoln cent is a modern copper-plated zinc penny struck at the Denver Mint with a mintage of about 4.27 billion pieces. It is normally common in circulated condition, but exceptional condition, high grades, and genuine mint errors can make individual examples much more interesting. Its connection to the U.S. Mint's 225th anniversary year and the first ever P mint mark on Philadelphia Lincoln cents also makes 2017 an especially memorable year in the history of the American 1-cent coin.